All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you all are deciding to listen to this podcast video. This is episode 2 of the Cohen Shaw Micro Podcast, covering results from the West Coast, or actually the western part of the United States, I guess you can say, consisting of Deming Speedway in Washington. We have Lemoore Plaza and Delta in California, and we'll cover some from the Adobe Mountain Speedway in Arizona. Got a lot to cover. Haven't done an episode since we got rained out the weekend of 11. They make that April 10th and 11th. So the 10th and 11th race that was supposed to be the Jet Bowl Classic at the Lemoore Raceway, that was made up later on. We'll cover that later. But April 25th was a shortened, abbreviated event at the Lemoore Jet Bowl. Rain in the forecast yet again. And we went to a qualifying and straight to a main event. So scratched heat races for the night. Junior sprint winner was Lee Uzel. Restricted was Tice Domingos. Wing outlaw Jackson Porter picking up his first victory at the Lemoore Jet Bowl in outlaw competition. And then TK O'Brien was the story in non-wing and A-class, doubling up for the first time, and the first driver to double up with that combination of non-wing and A-class. Of course, not without some drama. The non-wing feature was clean and green for that much. The A-class division, rain started to fall after a red flag and a little drama between the when Dalton passed TK. Nonetheless, TK was credited with the win, and the race shortened by 5 laps, 5 or 6 in the end of that one. Plaza Park Raceway was in competition on April 24th. The night before, Michael Facino picked up another Wing Outlaw victory. Tice Domingos winning in restricted. Jet Yanis continuing his points dominance in non-wing, and then Lee Uzel winning juniors, and Lucas Malden winning A-class. The A-class division once again paying, make that Tyner Hurst Enterprises, contributing a ride for one night in a 360 sprint car for the champion of that division of 2026. Delta Speedway ran April 18th. Wade Borchi picked up the A-class victory. His brother Miles would double up and win restricted for the Borchi family. Junior sprints, Lee Uzel was the victor there. Non-wing, Jeffrey Pahuli picking up his third win of the season. And then Nico Pinella winning in Super 600 Wing Outlaw competition. Week after that, May 1st, at Plaza Park Raceway, Colton Key picking up his first A-class victory at the track. Junior sprint went to Lee Uzel going back-to-back. Non-wing, Brody Graham snuck in there. A great battle between him and Jet. And his brother, Bladen, actually. And Brody comes out on top. Restricted winner was Miles Borchi. That was the beginning of his streak as he won at the Delta Speedway and the Lemoore Jet Bowl. And then Wing Outlaw was Jet Yanis. The midgets were in competition that night. Jet Yanis picked up the victory there as well. So Jet winning 2 out of the 3. Came close in non-wing that night. And then the next night at Lemoore Jet Bowl, Dalton Pereira picked up the A-class victory. Logan Lavarnway, a great battle between him and Lee Uzel. Logan was able to pick up the victory there. Miles Borchi in restricted. Once again mentioned his streak, going back-to-back nights with Plaza the night before. Cash Levenberg won non-wing, and Jackson Porter back-to-back in Wing Outlaw. Weekend after, Plaza Park was dark, but action was on for the race for research at the Lemoore Jet Bowl. Lee Uzel picked up the junior sprint victory, getting back on his winning streak. Miles Borchi back-to-back at Lemoore Jet Bowl, but also 3 in a row, counting his victory at Plaza. Cash Levenberg went back-to-back and also winning back-to-back, make that race for research events as he won A-Class the year before, and Jackson Porter winning in Wing Outlaw. Dalton Pereira picked up the victory in A-Class. I'm sorry, Bladen Graham picked up the victory in A-Class. Dalton Pereira was leading the race late. A lot of cautions, a lot of reds in that main event, and came up short on the fuel strategy, so that gave Bladen the win with 2 laps to go. Delta Speedway would be in competition the week after, May 16th. Kyle Fernandez picking up the A-Class victory. Santino Ganella winning in junior sprints. Bryson Cezino his first victory in restricted. Nico Pinella winning in non-wing. And Alex Pinella winning in Super 600 multi-competition. That made the streak to 3 with no repeat winners among the 5 divisions in the first 3 points races, something that hasn't been done since 1990s. But that was when weekly competition was 2 or 3 divisions, so this is something pretty spectacular. And also no repeat fast timers. Week after that would be the A-Class Shootout in Plaza Park. Night 1, junior sprint winner was Lee Uzel, now 3 in a row at the Plaza Park Raceway. He would sit out the next night, and in dramatic fashion for that feature, as the 88W Hayden White was leading and actually fell back to second or third, had an incident and passed before the cone, got to the lead, was crossing the line first, however, got put back 2 positions for passing before the cone as that race went caution-free the rest of the way from that restart. That gave KSM the win, and adding a grandpa, dad, son combination has been done a few times prior with the Max and the Farias, but nonetheless, the Keys add their name to that list for 3-generation winners at the Plaza Park Raceway. Non-wing competition, Jet Yanis won both nights, extending his win count and also capturing second on the all-time wins list behind TJ Smith as he passed Mitchell Moles. Restricted, Miles Borchi won night 1, came up 1 spot shy on night 2. Max and Roush back to victory lane, his first time at Plaza Park since April 2025 in pretty exciting fashion. Jet Yanis won Wing Outlaw to double up on the evening, with Jackson Porter winning the night before. Jet had the lead and had some issues midpoint in the race. That gave Jackson the lead and the win. A-Class Shootout was the main event for that weekend, paying some big money for $1,000 to win on Saturday, but also $500 if you could win both nights. Jet Yanis won night 1. He was looking to double up and sweep the weekend for A-Class to get that bonus. However, some issues happened, and Cole Bazzaio ended up winning that feature. I believe Jet had some sort of mechanical failure that parked him. Kind of reminded us of the KKM Shootout when he was leading on that Saturday feature and throttle hung up on that night. That led into the inaugural Maddox Salmon Memorial at the Delta Speedway. That was May 29th and 30th, a 2-night event. No qualifying. It was a 2-heat format on night 1 and also on night 2, but the top 5 or 6, I believe it's top 5, locked their way into Saturday, so they didn't have to run any heat races. They were automatically in Saturday's main event, paying $10,000 to win. Lee Uzel swept the weekend. Actually, all 3 divisions were a weekend sweep. Lee Uzel won night 1 and night 2 to pick up the inaugural Maddox Salmon Memorial Championship. Braxton Flatt won restricted on both nights, and that was restricted non-wing for the first time ever at the Delta Speedway. Actually, second time. They had an exhibition race at the end of the 2025 season. Lee Uzel won junior sprints, and Hux and Roush gave him a run for his money on night 2. Came up short on trying to give a bump and run on the last corner, last lap. The big talk of the town was Oklahoma's Chris Carroll coming out in the Sawyer Chassis number 5 and cleaned house. Started on the pole, or towards the front of his first heat, won that. Started at the rear, and everyone possibly thought, hey, he's going to have some competition here, and he made quick work of that. Ended up picking up that heat race victory and sweeping the weekend, winning both of his heats on Friday, the feature on Friday, with a good battle with TK O'Brien on night 1. At the night 2, Jeffrey Paoli was giving him some fits early, and then made a unlikely mistake from Jeffrey and cost him a good finish. And then in the end, Jake Andriotti was coming on strong, going back and forth for the lead, and then caught the wall. And on the last restart, his right front tire went flat, and that cost him any shot at victory. So Chris Carroll, 2 features, 2 heat race wins, and cashing the big check along with that nice Maddox Salmon Memorial trophy. Originally, June 6th was going to be a weekend off, but the Lemoore Jet Bowl was back in competition for a 1-night makeup event for the Jet Bowl Classic. Lee Uzel continued his winning ways in junior sprints, won another one. Miles Borchi extended to 3 in a row with the hat trick, winning restricted. Maverick Myrick won non-wing in spectacular fashion. TK O'Brien and Seal Howell looked to have a Salmon Motorsports 1-2 going on, and then Maverick on the last restart with 3 laps to go went to the bottom, catfished his way to the lead and on to victory, to now have a victory in all 4 600 divisions. He never competed in the junior sprints, so essentially a Grand Slam winner, if you will. and his first non-wing victory at the Lemoore Jet Bowl. Logan Trevino won for the first time at the Lemoore Jet Bowl since 2022, winning make that the wing outlaw division. And then A-Class Dalton Pereira picks up another victory, win number 17 at that point, and at the top of the A-Class all-time wins list at the Lemoore Jet Bowl. Back in action the weekend after, Plaza Park Raceway for June 12th. That was a weekend event with the midgets back on the card. And then the next night was June 13th, the Lemoore Jet Bowl once again. Dalton Pereira, back-to-back victories, his third on the season, and now number 18 in the A-Class division. Leo Zell, 3 in a row, and 4 on the year at the Lemoore Jet Bowl for junior sprint competition. Miles Borchi extends the win count to 4 in restricted heading into the break before coming back in August for the track. Non-wing, TK O'Brien, his second victory in non-wing competition. Got out front and looked strong all feature long. Actually got shuffled back on one of the restarts to the second spot, and then ended up getting it back to go on to his second win in non-wing competition. Jackson Porter got back to his winning ways in Wing Outlaw, his fourth on the year, heading into the break before August. That moved on to the Delta Speedway, 2 nights for the Summer Sizzler. A-Class division, Cole Frericks picked up his first victory ever in micro competition, and a pretty excited victory. Did some donuts. It was awesome to see. Huxon Roush piloting what will be Emerson Hagopian's junior sprint. Actually scratched that. Huxon Roush ended up driving Emerson's junior sprint the week before at the Lemoore Jet Bowl. This weekend he was in his own number 17H and took it on to victory for both nights of the Summer Sizzler. Looked very good and impressive, and now 2 wins on the season for Huxon at Delta. Restricted, Easton Cambency picked up his first ever restricted victory. Looked pretty good and looked like a seasoned veteran. Picked up his first ever. Non-wing was Brody Rubio, an exciting feature there as well. And then Logan Trevino winning Super 600s, his first Delta victory since 2023. So in a matter of a month, Logan snapped some winless streaks. And they weren't even winless streaks because he was racing every week, as he took a quick hiatus and now back in competition in 2026. The next night, Huxon Roush once again won junior sprints. In restricted, Miles Borchi, his second victory at the Delta Speedway and continuing his winning ways, has now adds a Summer Sizzler to his win count and resume. Jeffrey Paholi, piloting the Malden Motorsports 55X, took that car to victory lane as he went back-to-back for Summer Sizzlers in A-Class competition. He won last year in, I believe, his very own car. It might have been the 14. And then non-wing and Super 600s, Nico Pinella doubles up for the 6th time in his career, winning 2 divisions in one night. The only one to do it better than him is Caden Cirali with 7 times he's done it. Nonetheless, Nico put on a show in non-wing and Super 600s and ended up doubling up to wrap up the month of June. No micro competition this weekend in California, and then we head into a long stretch of darkness as July 25th will be the next California micro sprint event. That'll be at the Delta Speedway, back for a points race event. That'll lead into Deming Speedway as the Road to Clay Cup begins. And we'll onto the Adobe Mountain Speedway in Arizona. They've gotten in a few races since our last podcast. April 25th, another points event. A-Class winner was Tyler Ruth, 22 entries there. Restricted class, Leo Burris picking up the victory. Leo snuck over to run Lemoore Jet Bowl and Plaza Park Raceway a few weeks ago. And Brody Wake picking up the SWEM Midget Series. Good field of 18 cars for that. May 9th, another point show at Adobe Mountain. In your Outlaw division, Josh Castro picking up a victory. Josh has made a few trips over to California through the years. Easton Cametsy winning in restricted. And then the midgets, Travis DeGayton picking up a victory there. Junior sprints was Marley Furneaux. Furneaux, another frequent over in the California ranks. Then they had a 2-day show, the Salute to Indy, an annual event Popular for Arizona drivers, A-Class Preston Norbury picked up the victory, 20 entries there. Or actually more than that, they had a B main. 2 B mains to be exact, so a lot of A-Class cars showing up to Adobe Mountain. Restricted was Skylar Bohard, and midgets Gary DeWitt. Junior sprints went to Liam Lofton. Night 2 of the Salute to Indy. Before they got into a break in the action, A-Class went to Jace Turine, picking up the victory on night 2. Jaden Furneaux winning the restricted class. And then midgets Travis DeGayton doubling up along with the junior sprints, doubling up Liam Lofton winning both nights. A look at their schedule up ahead. They're off for numerous weeks. They'll be back in September. Typically, Arizona track's taking a break during the summer, and that'll lead them into a summer break. Leading into Deming Speedway. They're the talk of the town for the month of July, heading into Clay Cup, catching up on their weekly events. As we mentioned, April 10th, they were looking to get the race in and got rain shortened. Weekend after that, April 17th, Capstone Plastering Junior Sprint Division, Caston Sargent picking up the victory there. Ryan Cannon winning the Doyle Guffey's Rally Auto 600 restricted class. Once again, a big car count there, having a B feature for the restricted class. Nate Vaughn winning the Shots to Go Espresso make that 1200 division, and a frequent name, probably at the top of the all-time wins list at Deming Speedway in weekly competition, Jared Peterson, a familiar face with Clay Cup national victories as well, winning the Speedmart 600s to wrap up April 17th. The following weekend, April 24th, Capstone Plastering Junior Sprint Division, Cole Dishnow winning the feature. 17 entries in junior sprints, getting solid car counts up there in Washington for the junior sprint class. Another B main for the back-to-back weeks in the Doyle Guffey Rally Autos 600 restricted class. Ryan Cannon going back-to-back. Shots to Go Espresso 1200s also going back-to-back. Nate Vaughn winning the feature there, and Jared Peterson back to victory lane again, back-to-back weeks in the Speedmart 600 division. Getting tuned up for Clay Cup as the defending Clay Cup champion, Jared Peterson. May 1st was actually Phillips 66 Bulldog Landscaping Night. Jim's Automotive Specialty Sign Night was on April 24th, and then Pacific Coast Welding on April 17th. So the Phillips 66 Bulldog Landscaping May 11th event. Junior Sprint Division, Lucas Fisher winning the Junior Sprint main event there. Hudson Johnson, another victory on the season. That's his second in the Doyle Guffey's Rally Auto 600 restricted class. Focus Midgets on the card that night. Ryan Orchard picked up the victory in the 15 car field. Shots to Go Espresso 1200s. Alex Lewis picking up the feature there. And Speedmart 600s. Colton Knapp, a familiar face, comes down once in a while to California, picked up the victory for May 1st in the 600 division. May 8th was Mount Baker Athletic and Academic Night. Junior Sprint Division went to Lucas Fisher once more. Restricted class, Ryan Cannon, believe that's third or fourth victory of the season. Alex Peck winning the Focus Midgets as they were back on the card. Shots to Go Espresso 1200s. Nate Vaughn, another victory, his third or fourth on the season. And then Speedmart 600s, a little bit of throwback-esque as Tristan Thomas went to victory lane in the Open 600 division. May 15th, another rain out for Deming Speedway. Shots to Go Espresso night, and Little Caesars got washed out. May 22nd, Napa Auto Parts and Stedman Powder Coating Night. Five divisions on the card that night. Junior sprints went to Caston Sargent. Dayton Empey in victory lane for the Doyle Guffey's Rally Auto 600 restricted division. Dayton came down earlier this year. Look forward to seeing them come down once more right around Mark Hagopian Memorial Weekend. Focus Midgets, Braden Wagger went to victory lane, 13 entries there. Kyle Mitchell, Shots to Go Espresso 1200 feature winner. And once again, his third on the year, Speedmart 600s, Jared Peterson picking up the victory on May 22nd. May 29th, as Deming Speedway filling up the card for 2026. May 29th was Northwest Propane and Kaiser Wheels Night. Good car counts once more. Junior Sprints, Lucas Fisher back to victory lane. 600 restricteds, Brooklyn Bracy, first victory of the season. Shots to Go Express 1200s, Dakota Drake going to victory lane. Dakota's first win on the season, I believe. Speedmart 600s, Kyle Mitchell, another frequent driver, been around the Deming Speedway for quite a while, goes to victory lane. Got 3 more to recap. Make that 2 as June 5th, Robinson and Coyle Attorneys night got rained out. June 12th was Hillier Industries and TJ Forge night. 4 divisions on the card. Case and Sargent back to victory lane in your capstone plastering junior sprint division. In the 600 restricted, Dayton MP, second victory of the season. Shots to Go Expresso 1200s, Nate Vaughn once again back to victory lane, becoming a familiar face. And Speedmart 600s, Jared Peterson just racking up the victories. Definitely some momentum on his side when it comes to Clay Cup upcoming. A look at the schedule upcoming: IKO Mid-Season Championship and Fireworks Night, July 3rd on Friday night. Then that leads into the Dave Key Classic, first annual, July 10th. That's going to be a good show. A lot of Californians heading up early for that one. And then that leads into July 16th, 17th, 18th, Clay Cup Nationals, 3-night event. The premier event at the Deming Speedway. A lot of victories for some Californians, and I feel like this is going to be the best battle yet when it comes to the Washington versus California battle, as a lot of Californians heading up there. And a little bit of talk when it comes to victory lane interviews with Dalton Pereira, and he wants to put on a showing, and I know a lot of Californians do as well. So going to be exciting to watch that. You can catch that all on Fast 4 Media, along with Delta Speedway Plaza Park and Lemoore Jet Bowl, as they're off. In Delta Speedway will be off until July 25th, and then Plaza Park and Lemoore pick up the week after that, July 31st and August 1st. As that's a good recap. Finally caught up to speed. We'll see if we can do some podcast leading up to Clay Cup and make this a little weekly or bi-weekly as the coming races come up. So thanks for tuning in. If you made it to the end of this video, and hopefully you could subscribe to our YouTube. Check us out. Check me out on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all on Cohen Shaw. We'll talk to you later and see you at the track.